All right, hi, welcome to the fifth grade Meet the Teacher video. I'm Ms. Sorsling.
I'm Mrs. Kalta.
I'm Mrs. Upham.
I'm Mr. Bishop.
And we're going to be presenting to you a couple things that you need to know about fifth grade, as well as introducing ourselves. All right, so right off the bat, I'm Ms. Sorsling. I teach fifth grade science, history, and literature. So I will teach science for all the fifth grade classes, as well as history and literature for my own class. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived there until I was about 11 or 12 years old. At that point, we moved to South Florida, and that's where I graduated high school in Fort Myers. From there, I went on to college in UCF at Orlando. That's the UCF Knights, their mascot here. And then after graduation, I moved to Dallas in August of 2016. My family are pretty hardcore Atlanta sports fans, even though they make it very difficult sometimes. So we're pretty big fans of the Atlanta Falcons as well as the Atlanta Braves. At FCA, I have taught fifth grade science, history, and literature for 5 years. This will be my 6th year coming up. I used to coach volleyball and softball here. I don't anymore, but I'm still pretty involved in the athletics program. My family, my mom and dad moved to Dallas a year after I did. They're now local here, which is super fun. I'm one of 4 children. The oldest brother, Alec, he is a construction engineer in Orlando, Florida. I'm the second child. My younger sister, Kayla, is right underneath me. She graduated from UCF as well. She earned her master's degree in physical therapy and is now working as a PTA, or physical therapy assistant. She married Nathan Parker in May of 2017, I believe. And so they live in Orlando with their 2 puppies. And we get to see them pretty often, which is pretty fun. And lastly, my youngest brother, Patrick, he graduated from Coram Deo Academy in Flower Mound a couple years ago. He is a big fan of all things sports related, much like the rest of our family, especially baseball. He did some training there in college. He now attends Baylor University and is studying in their sports marketing program. However, the biggest thing for him is he is about to get married in about a week. So we're pretty excited about that. This is my full family, not including my sister-in-law to be in about a week. But these are my mom and dad, my oldest brother, Alec, and myself, my youngest sister, Kayla, her husband, Nathan, and then my youngest brother, Patrick, and soon will be his wife, Mary. This is my family at my sister's wedding when we got to celebrate their marriage, which, again, we're going to be doing here pretty soon. And then a couple of pictures of me throughout my life. As I said, I used to coach volleyball and softball. I also played basketball in high school, but I played volleyball and softball in college, which was really fun. This was my family when I made everyone run a 5K on Thanksgiving morning, which is why the turkey is in the picture. They were not super happy with me, but we did have a lot of fun. Here's when I graduated from college in Orlando. And then this is when my youngest brother, Patrick, and I hiked a 14,000-foot mountain in Colorado, which we had a ton of fun doing. So I would now like to introduce you to Mrs. Koltoff.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Mrs. Kalta. I am going to be teaching 5th grade ELA as well as history and literature for my homeroom classroom. A couple of things about myself. Here is a picture of me in 5th grade, which is always kind of a fun little thing to include. But I graduated from Hillsdale College. I majored in Latin and political economy, which is not a combo. That brought me down here to Texas, where I now teach 5th grade. So I grew up in a very small town called Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So I'm a really big Packers fan, really big Badgers fan, and Wisconsin is known primarily for its cheese. My parents actually send me a box of cheese every month, fresh from Wisconsin, which is pretty fun. We are very German and very Irish, so my family really loves to celebrate their heritage in that way. Additionally, I really love Harry Potter, and I try to incorporate as much of that into the ELA curriculum as I can because there actually is quite a bit of Latin in Harry Potter, fun fact. So just a little bit more about my family. I am the oldest of 3 children. I have 2 younger sisters, so here's me. This is my older younger sister, Ella. She is 20. She's currently at Hillsdale, which is very exciting to kind of share that with her, going to the same school. And then my youngest sister, Isabel, she goes by Izzy. She is just about to start 8th grade. So there's quite an age gap between us, which is kind of fun. This is my mother, my father. My mom works for Edward Jones in financial management. My dad is project manager at an asphalt company, making roads and that sort of thing. So here's a picture of us on Christmas. This is my husband. I have a little bit more about him in the next slide. Then here is the three of us in our Christmas jammies, Christmas tradition. So as I mentioned, I am married. This is my husband, Noah. He will be in and out sort of this year. He actually coaches basketball for Founders. He coaches varsity and is the assistant coach for the varsity team here. He is very tall. He is about 6'8", so that's always a very fun talking point. Lots of jokes to be made about that. We also have 2 cats, and we have some very funny stories about how we came to own them. So I'm sure that you guys will hear about that at some point during the year. But we grew up in the Midwest, met at Hillsdale College, married, and came down here. So we've been down here for a couple years now, and we absolutely love it. We like to explore new areas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We love to travel. We love to spend time with our cats, and yeah, it's been really great. So with that, I would like to introduce you to Mrs. Upham.
All right, hello. I'm Mrs. Upham. Some of you will probably remember me from various places on the campus. I started working here in 2016 in the middle school office, and then I worked in the grammar office for a couple of years. I took a year off and then came back last year as a full-time 3rd grade teacher and realized I needed just part-time work right now at this stage in my family life. So this year I will be teaching 5th grade math. And here's a little bit about me. I graduated from the University of Dallas a long time ago. My husband and I have been married for 19 years. He's right there in that picture. And we have 5 children, ages 17 down to 10. There's my 17-year-old. My 16-year-old is taller now than both of us. Thomas, my 8th grader, is also taller than I am now. I don't think he's quite surpassed my husband yet, but he's getting there. Johnny will be in 6th grade, and Beth will be in 4th grade. And this is the first year that all 5 of my children will be here at the Founders campus. So our carpooling will be much easier this year. In my spare time, I guide Catechesis of the Good Shepherd. And this is a very important note. I prefer Dunkin' Donuts to Starbucks. So just a little note to keep in mind. Other things, I used to love swing dancing, but I just don't have the time for that anymore. I will always happily play a game of cards, though, with anyone who would like to challenge me to spades or hearts. So for anyone who likes cards, I very much enjoy card games. And I think that is it. So I'm going to introduce you now to Mr. Bishop.
All right. So I'm Mr. Bishop. This is my first year teaching here at Founders. I'm going to be teaching 5th grade history and literature in the afternoon, and in the morning I also teach 6th grade literature in my homeroom. So a little bit about me. I'm from Nevada originally. I was born and raised there, but I've lived in Texas for about 12 years, so I consider myself a Texan. I went to high school pretty close in Denton. And then I went to the University of Dallas, where I studied English and a concentration in medieval and Renaissance studies. I am also, or I have been, a rock climbing instructor and enthusiast. I was actually in 5th grade when I first got into rock climbing. And then I am also, on the side, I'm a youth group advisor for high school students. I've done a lot of travel throughout the years, especially at University of Dallas, but other times too. I've been in the Middle East, Scotland, Greece, Italy, France, Hungary, Poland, a lot of other places too. So I have some pictures from there. And then I have 2 kittens named Nyx and Athena, of course, after two Greek goddesses. So these are them right there. There's Athena. She sleeps a lot, as you can tell. And Nyx, of course, named after the goddess of night and also the daughter of chaos. No coincidence there. A couple pictures. There I am in Scotland over on the left. This one is in a cave in Hungary. And this one, I was in a documentary film crew filming at Auschwitz in Poland. That was a very harrowing experience. And then here I am at the top of Mount Parnassus with a couple of friends. That's pretty much. Go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Dorsley.
Okay, now we're going to move into a little bit more of our content now that we've introduced ourselves. So the first thing I want to make you aware of is we do have higher expectations for fifth graders than the other grammar school classes. We are the highest grading grammar school. However, we are the youngest grade in this building. For our particular campus, if you're new to Founders in general, we are actually located in the middle school building. So we are in the building with 6th, 7th, and 8th that's also attached to the gymnasium. So we do expect us to set high standards for behavior with the grammar kids. And then we also tell our kids to show the older students how to best behave. Obviously, they are kind of mixed in this building with some of the middle school classes that we still expect them to behave in the best way possible. One of the big things that we hit in fifth grade is organization and personal accountability. We really like to think of ourselves as kind of the bridge between fourth and sixth grade. This is the first grade that they're actually changing classes, especially in the morning. So we really like to have a set system for where things go, what to take with you to make sure that everything is in its place and you can find it when you need it. So we try to be very explicit with that. Obviously, we're understanding. They've never had to do this before, but we kind of take fifth grade as a lot of training ground for that personal accountability and especially organization, now that they'll have more than just one teacher and more than just one classroom space. Again, that kind of touches on more responsibilities with changing classes. We try to keep all of our class expectations the same, as well as our discipline structure, as well as schedules and timing for our classes. We work very closely together amongst all three classes, but it is your student's responsibility to contact the teacher that they need to talk to if they're missing an assignment. If they are going to be absent, it's their job to communicate with their respective teachers. Also, I want to briefly go over some of the things that we will talk about curriculum-wise. As Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is not education at all. So within each of our core subject classes, we touch on some really important topics. In history, we'll do quite a bit of study in the Renaissance time period, Age of Exploration. We'll go through all the states and capitals, as well as the Civil War. In history, it's kind of broken up. Our first semester, so quarters 1 and 2, will be more world history, and then quarters 3 and 4, or second semester, is more American history as well. Within literature, we'll read Tom Sawyer, some of the stories from Sherlock Holmes, Prince Caspian, which is a continuation from fourth grade, where they did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, as well as the first introduction to Shakespeare here at Founders, which is Midsummer Night's Dream. That one we like to read as well as act out, so it's a ton of fun for our kids. In ELA, we'll be focusing a lot on Greek and Latin roots, again, continuing that from the lower elementary grades here, and then also focusing on diagramming, picking apart the sentence parts and really being able to ask the right questions and diagram sentences accordingly. In math, we'll talk about fractions, decimals. We'll do a little intro into algebra and even get into some financial literacy. And then in science, which again is my specialization there, we'll talk about chemistry, periodic table, explosions, all things related to that. Cells, classification of living things, where we'll do our animal projects. And then one of the biggest benefits to fifth grade science, it's the first year that you have a whole class hour dedicated to just that. So we'll also get into the lab upstairs. We'll do lots of experiments and things that are appropriate for our grade level. And now I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Evelyn.
For those of you who've been here for a while, you will recognize our mission statement, of course. But even if you're new to Founders, it's something that is always good to review and remember what we're doing here. So what to expect in fifth grade, of course, we just had a beautiful explanation of all of our curriculum, but our whole school seeks to provide a well-rounded education that is distinctively classical, pursues knowledge, promotes virtue, and prepares kindergarten through 12th grade students for prosperous lives in a free society. And we will work on that in all aspects with each of your children throughout this year. Oops. During the course of the year, we will have 2 field trips. One of them will be in October to the Fort Worth Zoo, which will coincide very nicely with the science unit on animals. And the second one is still to be determined. 5th grade used to go back to Fort Worth for the stockyards, but that festival is not happening anymore. So we're still trying to work on what the spring field trip will be. And then, of course, please contact any one of us about volunteer opportunities for chaperoning and for room parent positions. And as just a quick reminder, do fill out your volunteer application form as soon as possible so that the office can process that, so that you can indeed help us on campus. All right, thank you.
Just point out a couple things about our website. You can find a lot of the information you'll need throughout the year here, so refer to that when in doubt. You'll be able to access the school calendar here. We'll have all the important dates on it. The student handbook, including behavior expectations, uniform policies, etc. And then links to order uniforms. And then you'll find the curriculum maps. It'll tell you where we are in each subject through each month. And then also our staff contact information so that you can get in touch with us. And we do require, like the grammar school, we require, students are required to get a founder's school planner from the front office. You can get it at Meet the Teacher when you come, and it's going to be $10 cash only.
All right. Additionally, room parent responsibilities are quite mitigated in 5th grade. We are accepting signups for that position, mostly in 5th grade. 5th grade, room moms get to help with the really fun stuff. So they're going to be helping to coordinate our holiday parties, the family fun fair, our door decorating contest for homecoming, our curriculum day, which in 5th grade is Westward Expansion Day, Teacher Appreciation Week, that sort of thing. There is not much of the sort of day-to-day erranding and all of that kind of stuff that I know happens a lot in the younger grades. So they are much more self-sufficient by this age, so we get to do more fun things with them. Other miscellaneous items, opportunities for volunteerism. I know that Mrs. Lowe is looking for library volunteers as well. So if you are interested in that, please inquire in the front office. All right. Our Family Fun Fair, we have tentatively set a date for that, being October 8th is the end of the first quarter. So it is an early release day that is subject to change, but that is on the calendar tentatively. Our Founders Family Fun Fair is our biggest fundraiser of the year. For those of you who have been here for many years, I'm sure you know how much fun it is. For those of you who are coming to join us now, it is quite the ordeal. Each of the grades or subjects has a booth with a different activity or product or food. I know Mrs. King sometimes brings her big photo camper, which is really fun. So it's a great opportunity for us all to get to know each other, all the founders' families to come and show their support for the school. It's a really, really fun event. We will make sure to email closer to that time, obviously check the headmaster updates and things like that in case the date does change. But you will definitely want to write that date into your calendar, keep it under your radar because it is a lot of fun. Now, at this point in our presentation is when we would usually pause for questions, but as you can ask them right now, please feel free to reach out to us at any time with any questions that you may have. You can present them to us when we get to meet you face-to-face next Friday, or you can find all of our contact information for all the teachers and the office staff on the school website. So again, please reach out with any questions that you might have. Here are our school emails. I'm not sure if you can even see them, but traditionally it is just the first letter of our first name and our last name. Of course, mine is a little strange since I've been married. Mine is my maiden name. But again, we can find all that contact information on the school website.
Okay, that's all we have for you. So we hope to see you at Meet the Teacher.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.